Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. So to start off with, I'm going to talk about Oregon in the quarterfinals. Oregon rolled over Texas Red Raiders 23 to nothing, shut them out the entire game. Wasn't expected. Oregon has kind of struggled defensively, especially in the first round of the playoffs against JMU, allowing over 30 points. They come back in this one and show why Dan Lanning is the coach. Clearly, he had some stuff to say to the defense that probably helped him get really motivated for this match. 2 interceptions for number 4 freshman for Oregon and allowed them to get this W. One of them, of course, was in the red zone, I believe in the end zone, if I remember correctly. And it was a 245 passing yards for Oregon, 137 for Texas Red Raiders. Only 64 yards of rushing for Oregon and 78 for Texas Red Raiders. Of course, Oregon had the advantage with yards in this game at 309 versus 215. It definitely shows on the scoreboard, and the one moving on to the semifinals to go against the winner of the Alabama-Indiana game, and of course that was Indiana. Indiana Hoosiers rolled over the Tide, pushing the Tide right out into their house to prepare for next season and whatever else the team is going to do as far as go to the NFL draft, transfer. It doesn't matter. Now they're gone. Their season is done with. So Indiana moves on to the semifinals after a 38-3 win, absolutely dominating over Alabama. Indiana took advantage of their weakness at the offensive line, absolutely devastated Ty Simpson. He went out after being shooken up in the first half at halftime. He didn't really return for much action, really any in the second half. Handing the ball over to the second string. And in fact, I kind of think it might have been a similar move that Nick Saban tried and was successful with back some years ago against Georgia. Of course, this time for Kalen DeBoer, it did not work. Indiana was still all over the quarterback and that offensive line. They were also devastating against Alabama's defense. They are a true, complete team. I wasn't completely sold. I am pretty sold now coming out of this. Of course, they do have a tough rematch coming up against Oregon in the semifinals. And when you face a good team, and it was a close match the previous time like it was against Oregon, close matches usually go the other way in a rematch. So definitely something to watch, and it's going to be a great semifinal round side of the bracket where Georgia, the absolute favorites of the game against Ole Miss, just didn't go the Dogs' way. The Dogs ended up having to lead at half and then just could not hold on to it pretty much going into the fourth quarter. But for once, the Dogs were the one to lose the advantage going into the fourth quarter. Usually is them down in the fourth quarter, at least it was early on in the season, and then making that comeback. In this case, it was the Ole Miss Rebels. They said, we are here to play and we are going to advance. Happy for the guys, disappointing because the Georgia Bulldogs is my team, but happy to see Ole Miss get a W in this hectic season that they did have. Congratulations to them. So they will be moving on to play Miami Hurricanes. I've picked against them 2 times in this playoff, first round and second round. Kind of the underdogs of the better teams in this playoff run, but obviously they don't believe so. They haven't played like it, especially their defense. Absolutely, once again, all over the quarterback, and this being just absolutely disruptive, not allowing Ohio State to get any momentum in this game. Ending the game at 24-14 and not even allowing Ohio State to get on the board until in the third quarter was just a picture-perfect day for the Hurricanes, and they're going to need that energy moving on towards their matchup against Ole Miss. Ole Miss is definitely, like I was saying in a previous movie, they are probably the most motivated team. I know that Indiana, coming from really nothing to win, almost having undefeated season, 2 more wins, and they'll be undefeated all the way through the national championship, not just through the season. So they have a lot going for them. Oregon, of course, Dan Lanning, I have them fired up. Miami, which at one point probably thought they wasn't going to be in the playoffs, a lot of doubt, even for myself, at thinking that they would going to advance too far in the playoffs, but obviously they're proving people like myself and other people wrong. They are no easy win, and they're no easy out. So for Ole Miss, they better bring the absolute motivation that they plan to win this one to advance to the national championship. Overall thoughts of the playoffs up to this point, outside of 2 games that we felt like that was automatic, pretty much was automatic. Oregon, JMU, and Ole Miss, Tulane, been absolutely fantastic to watch, and I will enjoy watching these last 3 matches, semifinals and national championship regardless. Congratulations to the 4 teams advancing: Indiana, Oregon, Ole Miss, and Miami, for y'all's hard work and effort throughout the season, postseason, and for 2 of these teams beyond that, this next round. So just good job, keep pressing on, and despite the fact that my dogs are no longer playing for the national championship, go Dogs.